Hey guys, Eli here. I am here to rank the Evil Dead films in the order that I like them. Something that I've been wanting to do for a while, but I decided to wait for Evil Dead Burn. Now I know there's you hear a dog in the background. I know there's another Evil Dead movie coming out, at least one more, and I would assume more than that. But I didn't want to just keep waiting and waiting and waiting, so I'm gonna do it now, just after the release of Evil Dead Burn. And maybe I'll do it again after one or two more Evil Dead movies come out. But we're talking that could be anywhere from 3 to 7, 8 years. So who knows? I figured the time is now. We got 6 movies. That's a decent ranking. 4 different directors. I guess I'll just preface this by saying this is one of my absolute favorite horror franchises. It's flawed for sure, like they all are. But as flawed as they are, they're not nearly it's a franchise not nearly as flawed as some of the others, especially some of the bigger American franchises. Looking at you, Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street and fucking Halloween, of course. But I will say, flaws and all, I like all 6 of these movies. There's not one movie here that I don't like. Some obviously less than others. You gotta rank them as you like them, and that's what I'm gonna do right now. So, all right, 6 movies. Like I said, we're gonna start off with number 6. I gotta go with Evil Dead Rise. I like this movie. I like all of these, but I have to say this is the one that I've had the most trouble liking. I've seen it a number of times. Every time I see it, I hope that my opinion changes. I want to like it more than I do. I want to like it a lot more than I do, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I even rewatched it a month ago, maybe a little bit more, so I could review it, and I didn't feel any different. I think that I liked it the most. I think on the second watch, because the first watch I thought it was cool, but I was a little disappointed. So the second one, I think I was just kind of subconsciously trying to give it more credit. And every watch after that is just pretty much reverted back to how I felt in the first one. It's Lee Cronin's film, of course. Are we going to see him direct another one? I'm not really sure. I don't really care. I wouldn't, to be honest, I don't really want to see him direct another one. I don't. I think he did a good job, but I don't think he's the guy, who I'd want to see another one from. I think someone else could do a better job. It's just solid. I didn't really like the. I didn't think the family aspect worked too much. Especially having young kids. I didn't want to see young kids in an Evil Dead film because I just feel like that mucks things up. The Deadites were okay. I kind of had problems with them at the time, but I appreciate them a little bit more now after seeing Evil Dead Burn. We'll just say that. It's also before that we had the 2010 Evil Dead film, the Fede Alvarez version, or a reboot essentially. I guess you could call it reboot remake, soft reboot, soft remake. That one was so mean spirited, and I really really enjoyed that aspect of it. So I guess I wanted more of that, and it's just people pretend that this movie I think is way more gory and mean and violent than it really is. It is gory and mean and violent, but not. It did not surpass the 2010 film, and it didn't, in my opinion, it didn't even really surpass, like, say, the first 2. But anyways, it's solid, it's decent. Unless Lee Cronin can correct things that I didn't like about his film, I wouldn't really want to see him direct another Evil Dead film. And I just think someone else could do it better. Number 5, Evil Dead Burn. I just saw it last night, opening day. So as you can see, I didn't exactly love it being in the number 5 spot. But like I said earlier, I liked them all, and I liked Evil Dead Burn. This time directed by French director Sebastian Vanacek, who directed. I guess he pretty much got this job from directing that movie, that spider movie, Infestation or something a couple years back. I still need to see that. I heard it was really cool. So it's got some similar problems, in my opinion, that Evil Dead Rise had. Just kind of bland, mediocre characters. I didn't really like what he did with the Deadites up until. I don't want to. No spoilers, by the way, because I know it's a new movie. So there's a mid-credits scene. So I won't say anything, that will spoil that. There's a mid-credits and a post-credits scene. So I liked what he did with some Deadite stuff in the mid credits scene. There's a Deadite there that looks, more like the first two, like the Sam Raimi Deadites, which in my opinion are the best. So the other Deadites in the movie, I just didn't like the looks of them as much. He's a French director, so like I do feel like new French extreme flavors in this movie, as I've already said. This one is mean and brutal and violent, and it does top Evil Dead Rise in that aspect. I almost see this as a tie, to be honest, with Evil Dead Rise, because the story just not that interesting, the characters not that interesting, but really just the gore and the violence and the scares and some of the action scenes were really cool, but overall the story just not great. Number 4, we have the 2010 Evil Dead, directed by Fede Alvarez. I love this movie. I would like to put this higher, but I just can't. Obviously, I cannot put it above any of the Raimi films. And I'm not saying that just as a Raimi fanboy. I'm just saying it's just not better than those. But I like it a lot. The story is not anything special. It's kind of it's a soft reboot of the original Evil Dead. It's these group of young adults or whatever going out to a cabin, just like in the first two. Very similar cabin. It even looks like it is the same cabin somehow. And the characters are really bland, but man, Fede Alvarez just gave us so much gore and so much awesome violence that it makes up for all the other shortcomings. It really does, in my opinion. The Deadites are cool. I like the way that they moved, and his Deadites were a little bit closer to Sam Raimi's, which I feel like the other directors kind of got away from. I just have a huge soft spot for this movie. I mean, I like it from the whole thing. I love how it begins. I love how it ends. Big fan of this. Just the fact that like I said, a lot of the story and characters are kind of mediocre. The fact that he makes the movie so cool despite that is pretty impressive. Number 3, and this is where it got hard for me, but because I like all these almost equally, but not quite. So I guess it wasn't that hard. But I would like to rank the first 3, the Sam Raimi Evil Dead films. I'd like them all to be number 1, but it doesn't work that way. So my number 3 has got to be Army of Darkness. But I will say, I've always liked this movie, and I'll be honest, I've always considered it. I've always enjoyed it a little less than the first 2, but this last rewatch, I hadn't watched it for a number of years, and I saw it in the theater. I think it was earlier this year, and just had a goddamn blast. I had maybe it's because I saw it in the theater. I had a newfound appreciation for it. I think I might like it now more than I ever did, but it was always going to be my number 3. It was never going to be lower, but it was never going to be higher either. It's it's a different kind of movie. It's barely an Evil Dead movie. It's more of it's got Evil Dead flavors, sure. But it's its own thing. It's got schlocky slapstick comedy stuff. Bruce Campbell's amazing. This is one of my, actually, this might be my favorite Bruce Campbell performance. Yeah, I think this is my favorite version of Ash and Bruce Campbell. But it's not my favorite Evil Dead movie. Number 2, we're going with Evil Dead 2. It's always been my second favorite. I know a lot of people prefer it to the first one. I did kind of see them in order, not as they came out. I'm not old enough, but yeah, I did see the first Evil Dead first, and that one just always stuck in my mind as this awesome fucking movie. You already know it's my number 1, obviously, but yeah, I don't know. I could never appreciate, or at least I feel like I never appreciated Evil Dead 2 as much as a lot of other people. Because like I said, many people that I've talked to and just seen, talk about the movies in the past, many people, I want to say most, seem to think that 2's better than 1. And I get it. It's a requel, so, Sam Raimi himself, wanted to fix some things that he maybe didn't think he got right for the first one. And I get he probably thinks it's a better movie, and a lot of you guys do too. And it's a better made movie. He came in with I guess a little bit more experience, maybe some technical things. It is technically a better movie. It looks better. It plays better. I don't know. but at the same time, it's always bothered me a little bit that it is a requel because I feel like it should have been done. I'm just gonna say that. I feel like it should have been a sequel with a completely new story. It's so confusing and it's hard to describe. If you've seen these movies, and I'm not gonna sit here and take the time to explain how it's the same and how it's different than the first one. It's an awesome movie. It is so cool. It's fun. It has he brings in more of Sam Raimi brings in more of his own slapsticky things that he loves to do. So there's more comedy in this one. The first one is a little bit more bleak, but I think it's still goofy. Yeah, it's a fun, violent, gory, well-made movie. It's just a lot of fun. Number one, we've already gotten into that. I don't think I really even need to say all that much at this point. The Evil Dead, man. This is not only my favorite Evil Dead film, but it is arguably my favorite horror film of all time. Usually, when people ask me, "Hey, what's your favorite horror movie?" I say, "Well, it's a tie between two. It's a tie between The Evil Dead and The Exorcist," and I don't think that will ever change. I've been saying that for decades now. I just have a huge soft spot for this movie. Yeah, like I said, it's not as well made as the second one. It was his first film, Sam Raimi's first film, but I think it's awesome. I think it's scary because it was scary when I saw it. So I still kind of think it is. And it has much more of a creep factor than the second one does. It's much more of a darker horror film compared to Evil Dead 2. It did some things, some mean-spirited things that you didn't see. Well, I guess you did see back then. You don't see as much now. Like with the trees attacking, Ash's. Yeah, I won't describe the tree scene. We all know that's not something I don't think most directors would do nowadays. So yeah, it's just darker. It's a little bit more violent and a little bit more gory in a mean spirited way. There is still some goofiness. There's still the goofy side to this because it's Sam Raimi after all. But man, I don't know. I just love this movie. I love. Most of the characters aren't actually that great. Ash, Bruce Campbell has always been the star. He's always been, the actor you can't take your eyes off. He has it, and no one else really did. So I guess this is not the best version of Ash. I would say Ash is much more interesting in the following two Raimi films. So this is not the best Ash you get, but this is my favorite Evil Dead movie, and I don't think that will ever possibly change. I just don't think it could happen. But with time, who knows? Things do change. Opinions change. You change your mind on stuff over time, but I doubt it. I wanted to kind of bring Ash versus Evil Dead, the TV series into this, but it wouldn't really fit. I think there were 3 seasons or whatever. I didn't want to rank that against movies, but I will just say I fucking love it. If I were to rank it, honestly, if I were to put it in this ranking, it would probably be after. Probably be number 4. It would be after Army of Darkness. It just, man, it was Evil Dead back with a bang. I expected it to be terrible. I don't know why. I guess I was much more pessimistic back then. I still am, but I was more then, I think. And I thought it was going to be terrible. I expected it to be awful, and man, I bought the first season when it came out. I popped it in my player, and from the beginning, from the first few seconds, I was like, we're going to be okay. Yeah, this is going to be good. This is going to be all right. At at worst, this is going to be okay. And it was more than okay. It was pretty fucking awesome. A blast, a lot of fun. Characters, Ash was amazing. Bruce Campbell didn't miss a beat. It was Ash as he always should have been, or as he always was, I should say. And even the other characters were really cool too, which was you can't really say for most of these movies. Anyways, guys, that's it. I would love to hear your rankings, so go ahead and leave them in the comments. I'm always interested. When I do rankings, I'm always interested in seeing how other people rank things. And I'm obsessed with rankings. I love doing them. I love watching yours. If you guys make videos or have a podcast or whatever, I love hearing your rankings. Or it doesn't matter, even if you're just a dude that sits on the couch and loves movies. I enjoy your rankings as much as anyone else's. We're all people after all. Yeah, we're all just fucking hairless monkeys, putting things in boxes, and I guess we'll continue to do that. Cheers, guys, and I'll see you at the multiplex. Subscribe right now, please.